Hey everyone out there, I appreciate you watching my videos and commenting to my channel. I wanted to take this opportunity to apologize. So, you guys hear me say all the time that it's my attempt, and I really try, and it's our goal. It's our goal to deliver the best, you guys hear me say it all the time, discussion, debate, and analysis on college football. That's my goal, and we miss the goal a lot. We don't hit the goal all the time, but that's what I'm trying to do here. So I didn't really realize. I just didn't realize. I didn't realize what I was doing. You know, the other thing I say all the time is that we're here for the hardcore fan and we're here for the smart fan. And I just had such a just a complete miss in judgment here. And I just have to say I'm sorry. I just had no idea that, and I should have realized this. You guys are used to watching and listening to, just based on what you're listening to most of the time out there, TV, radio, online, and what you usually hear. I don't know how I should have known that that when I released my top 25, that you just that the level of thought and logic and wisdom that that many of you just wouldn't be able to handle. And so yeah, it was just a misjudgment on my part. It was like I liken it to maybe when Christopher Columbus discovered that the world was round. You know, it just blew people's mind. They just couldn't handle it. And it was just too much for them. And so this is pretty much on par with that. And so my deepest apologies. All right. Hey, MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. Wink, wink. Yes, my top 25, that actually makes sense. Yes, it does make sense. It does make sense. So I'm going to respond to viewer comments because I am so amused by this. You know, I'm a little disturbed. I'm disturbed because I thought we had made more progress than this. So with many of you, hey, you're on board. You understand what I'm trying to do. You understand the logic of the rankings. Many of you, again, stay with us, please. Stay with us. We will educate you. You've been watching too much crap. We will educate you. So stay here, the uninformed, and we will, again, this is what we do on a daily basis, is educate on college football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Yes, right here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. So I had a little fun with that, and that was my reaction to your reaction to my top 25 that actually makes sense. So I explained it. This is not a ranking of the best teams in the country. And if I pull up, and I should have done this before I came on, I should have pulled up my final top 25 rankings from last year, because you would most likely say 1, 2, 3 on down the line through 25. Yeah, makes sense. Got it. This is the way these teams performed this year. The top 25, the final top 25, after Clemson beat a national Alabama to win the national championship made sense. Just like these rankings based on one game make sense. I love how many comments I received of people saying, you're going to have 4 Mountain West teams in your top 25 in 4 weeks. Yeah, if they have resumes to back up being ranked in the top 25, but most likely since they will not be playing the level of competition and they will lose some games, most likely no, that they won't be. But at this point, they have earned the ranking. Stay with me here. I know it's a little mind-boggling and it's a little too much for you to take at times. That we're actually going to rank teams based on what we see on the field. And yes, this is not the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA. We do not have a logical system to evaluate the teams just based on the wins and losses. So we have to judge the teams and evaluate them. And we've only played one game. So I'm not giving teams a pass for just being who they are. They will go out, if they're as good as they're supposed to be, they will go out and win the games, and then the ranking will reflect that. And for the teams that may have lucked into a win of sorts or played over their heads and picked up a really good quality win in week 1, but they're really not that good, i.e. Maryland over Texas in week 1 of 2018, they will eventually lose games and be ranked appropriately. Understand, this is not a prediction of the top 25 teams at the end of the season. This is a reflection on week 1. Is it perfect? No. Go find your perfect top 25, and I will tear it to shreds. It's not a perfect ranking. So if somebody needs to be higher, lower, I certainly invite those comments and that perspective. Certainly. It's not a perfect top 25 because understand that after evaluating teams after one game that they're going to play out of 12 and then 13 with the conference championship games, that there's that much separation between like dozens of teams. So you could easily place a team at 15th or they could be 25th or they could be 12th. There's this much separation on the field that we've seen. Each week gives us more clarity, gives us more separation into the performance, the talent level, and the production on the field between the teams. That's where they play the season. Okay, let's go to the comments because, again, I'm a bit amused and I'm a bit disturbed. I'm also a bit disturbed at how thin-skinned some people are and REAX. So I had somebody comment to me a few weeks ago. They were so upset, so remarkably upset that I did not come through on one of my live streams. I announced a live stream on a Tuesday night. I was out of town, and I entrusted that live stream to some other folks who did an outstanding job, but Google changed the procedures on the live stream, and they couldn't figure it out. I was not able to be contacted, and sorry, I didn't come through on the live stream. And this person, unsubscribe, you're unreliable, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is a free service. I am providing 120 to 150 videos a month. I'm on for 50 hours a week at my normal job. I'm here doing this. I'm working 100 plus hours a week to provide you college football content. Sorry. And so this person, fortunately, and to their credit, they listened to reason and logic, and we talked and went back and forth, and they finally said, okay, Mark, I get it. I understand you've got a life, and you actually are doing this in addition to a zillion other things, and therefore my apologies. So I reeled them back in, and I'm going to have to reel maybe some of you back in, and some of you others, this will be the last time you watch me, and that'll be fine too. It makes no difference. All right, want to run through the comments on my top 25 for week 1. And again, this unfolds as the season unfolds. Therefore, if you are, let's say, number 5 in the country, that doesn't mean you stay number 5 just because you win. Most likely you will remain very lofty in the rankings, but if a team right behind you plays more impressive and tougher opponents, well, then they will eclipse you. The resume comes down and is rebuilt each and every week. So understand that part of it too. We are not the AP poll in 2004 when the only reason Auburn did not play in a national championship game, and it was USC and Oklahoma, is basically because USC and Oklahoma were the preseason 1 and 2 teams, and Auburn was like 19th. Therefore, they hit a ceiling. And even though they probably should have been in the title game instead of Oklahoma because they played a more impressive schedule, it was just the thought that, well, Oklahoma and USC are already there, so you can't move them out. Yes, you can. You can move them out because this is what we're left with in college football. We don't have a logical system, so we have to try to impart as much logic and reason into the cruddy system that we can to determine who the best teams are. And right now, we only have one data point. We only have one game. So we're going to use the one game, and then we're going to have a second game. You know what? A lot of teams that I have ranked rather high in game 1, they're going to lose in week 2 or 3 or 4 and show themselves not to be that good. And you know what? I'm going to drop them in the rankings, or they're going to be out of the rankings. And then some people will say, Mark, see, they weren't the 6th best team in the country, or they weren't the 12th best. I didn't say they were the 6th or 12th best team in the country. I merely ranked them where they earned the ranking at the time. These are not predictions. It's a ranking based on what we've seen thus far. All right, here we go. Stay with me here. 76 comments. I don't know how many I will get to at 3 o'clock in the morning. Number one ND fan. So I did make one blunder. Please, I will apologize for that in particular and explain the one miss that I made on my top 25, but it will be corrected. All right, number one ND fan. Kentucky beating Toledo at home is better than handily winning at a Power 5 in Louisville. Well, let's understand, first of all, most Power 5s are better than Group of 5s, but not even close to all of them. So that's flawed logic right there. Don't tell me that Louisville is better than every Power 5 team or Group of 5 team. And yes, Kentucky beating Toledo, Notre Dame beating Louisville, where Notre Dame was certainly challenged. Those are comparable. All right. That's a fine criticism, though. I have no issue with that. Okay. M. Egan TV. You completely lost me on this one. And that's what I stated off the top. I understand this was a bit too much for some of you. A little much for you to take. So it would be in your best interest to stay with us, learn something, contribute to the conversation, continue to do that, but learn something. All right. P. Adams. By the way, Michigan football is boring to watch. Dang, what a boring-ass offense. Okay, we're not really addressing that right now, but thank you for the comment. P. Adams again. Half these sorry arse fans won't even care about a ranking after their team loses 2 or 3 more games. It's week 1. Plus, there are only like 10 teams that are legitimate playoff contenders. Everybody else is just building for the future and going bowling. That's a pretty accurate assessment, actually. But people do care about the rankings because that's all we've got in college football. We don't really have standings. We do in the conferences, but they sometimes don't mean a whole lot. They should. They mean everything. Iron Cross, perfect. Keep Michigan off the list. They actually were on my list, number 25. McD Sports 4. Damn right, Maryland was a top 10 team going into week 2 last year. Beat Syracuse. We should be in the AP poll. Okay. 10-0. Yay, Auburn. Number 1. Let's go. Do I think Auburn's the best team in the country? No. Do they deserve a number 1 ranking? Yes. For right now, yes. They do. All right, Spicy Leonardo, you spent 90% of this video aimlessly ranting. Okay? I did make a response to Spicy Leonardo, who spent 100% of that statement aimlessly criticizing something you must not understand. Thank you, Spicy. George! All right. Liked it, shared it to Twitter. Get it out there. Let's educate some people. You've listened to too much crappy analysis for too long. I'm trying to correct this. All right, Tyler Manning. Why is beating Oregon the best win? I mean, if you look at the S&P Plus, Miami is 21, Oregon is 24. Okay, the S&P Plus is very valid. I cite it many times. Look at it during my previews. I cited it many times in evaluating offense and defense. Now, if you're talking about the S&P Plus from last year, obviously that is last year's S&P Plus. If you're talking about the projected S&P Plus, there's some validity there. But if you're talking about an S&P Plus that is the S&P Plus after one game, then it's after one game. So I don't know where you got your S&P Plus. It's probably the projected figure for 2018, but that's, again, a projection. And as I explained, no rankings, including mine, are perfect. My rankings, I don't claim them to be perfect. They're not perfect. There's no such thing. There's opinion, and there has to be assumption made. When I ranked Auburn number 1, I am assuming, based on all data that we have, and I think it will play out, that Oregon's a really good team. But Oregon may turn out to be garbage, and then that Auburn win deteriorates significantly. If Oregon's 1-8, 3-6, fill in the blank, after 9 weeks, that win isn't going to be counted for much. Actually, will probably take away from Auburn's resume because it's a game that they should have lost. It's a game that they were trailing and outplayed for much of the game. And if they lost to a 3-6 team or barely beat a 3-6 team on a neutral site, then that's going to be to Auburn's discredit. But for right now, it's to their credit. Buckeye State Sports, best video of the week. Thank you, Buckeye State Sports. Appreciate it. Reginald Anderson, you have Boise State way too high. They needed a comeback to defeat a lousy FSU squad. Okay. They also had to travel to Jacksonville and then were detoured to Tallahassee. They also started a first-time starting quarterback as a true freshman. And they also were down early, and it may have taken them some time to get their legs under them to perform to their ability, and they performed lights out in the second half on the road at Doak Campbell Stadium against a Florida State squad that, yes, was lousy last year. Looks like they might be lousy this year. We can make that correlation. I understand your point. It's also a Florida State squad that I think we can all agree is one of the 15 most talented teams in the country, and Boise State outscored them 23-0 to close out the game. So maybe they are way too high, and Boise State will be adjusted as they probably continue to win, but against lesser opponents, and other teams' resumes will build past theirs. So hang on. I understand the criticism, and again, I love the debate. I love the criticism if it's well-founded. All right, Johnny Bays. Ha, 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 ha. No Notre Dame. Okay, this is where I screwed up, is what I just bypassed Notre Dame. So that was a miss on my part. I don't know where I would have rated Notre Dame off the top of my head. They weren't very impressive. They played what we expect to be an improved Louisville team. Notre Dame should have been ranked probably in the 18 to 20 range. Okay, but here, Johnny Bays, Power 5 road win. Again, the whole thing with the Power 5. Yes, I cite Power 5 versus Group of 5 as well. But let's understand, Louisville is worse than probably 15 to 20 Group of 5 teams. That should hold. That should play out. All right, Johnny Bays, Power 5 road win by 18 isn't good enough to be top 5. Maybe he's saying 25, but he says 5. Ha ha, let alone top 25. Boise had a better win. Ha ha ha. MSU had a better win. Ha ha ha. OSU had a better win. 3 TDs to Florida Atlantic. I understand your point. It was a miss on my part, Notre Dame. I went through the conferences. I forgot about Notre Dame. Maybe I shouldn't do videos at 4 o'clock in the morning after I've been up all day and all night like I am right now. But so my apologies. That was the miss. That was the one legitimate, valid, truthful apology I will give concerning all this. Lego on Fuego college football. Ha, ha, ha. Always enjoy your videos, Mark. Thank you so much. I appreciate that comment because this is the first time Lego on Fuego I've ever seen you comment. So you know what this means. It's tradition. The Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Would love to know how long you've been watching and who you root for. I hope I didn't lose your comment. Dropping the phone here. Lego, where are you? Lego, 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 my ego. Ha, ha, ha. Always enjoy your videos. Mark, I won't comment on your top 25 theory, though. I'm just glad you're not the one who decides this for the NCAA, or else Michigan just got set back to the Rich Roddy era. Michigan fan, thank you. Hang with me. Week 2, week 3, week 4. Join the progression. Watch it play out. It will make sense to you. Take it in. Okay. Matt Morose, Wyoming, really? Yeah, really, Wyoming. Again, there have to be assumptions made in any top 25, especially after week 1. There have to be assumptions made. So the assumption is that Missouri is good, not great. Top 30, top 35 would be the range that most analysts all over the place, and you, for the most part, would have ranked Missouri to start the season. Many placed them in the top 25. They actually were just outside the poll, I believe, to start the season. So we have to make that assumption. Missouri's pretty good. They're probably 7-5, 8-4 good. So yes, Wyoming beat them and beat them decidedly. I know the final score was close, but they certainly controlled the game. They were the better team on the field. They did not dominate, but yes, Wyoming earned my number 17 ranking. Yes, they did. Okay. Shane Westwood, I understand your logic and see what you're doing, but I think your ranking is kind of dumb. Okay. I understand your logic and see what you're doing, but it's kind of dumb. I think you're talking out of two sides of your mouth. Okay, Shane. I enjoy that you contribute here, and we appreciate your comments. Always do. So Michigan plays a sloppy game but looked great at times and won comfortably. The same happened to tons of other teams in your top 25 like Ohio State, but Michigan is now unranked. I love your content, but without any extended comparison of your top 25 teams, I'm just going to throw this in the trash. Way too reactionary, in my opinion. Reactionary? If there's anything that's not reactionary, it's my rankings. Oh, boy. Get this through your head. You know why it's not reactionary? Is because it's not based on any perception we had during the offseason, except for what has to be applied. There has to be some assumption applied, but I try to back that away as much as possible and just say, what did we see on the field against opponents? Did we see dominant performance? Did we see just barely getting by? Did we see somebody lose to a great opponent or a very good opponent like an Oregon who made the rankings despite losing the game against Auburn? So actually, when you say too much reaction, the standard top 25, there's too much stale thought about what we perceived and what we thought and what we expected during the offseason that's made up. It hasn't been displayed on the field yet. Once it gets displayed on the field, Michigan fans, don't worry. If you win, you will be ranked appropriately. Let's not get bothered. Check out my final top 25. In fact, I will leave my final top 25 from last season in the comments section. Hopefully I'll remember it. And I'll grab that link and I'll leave it in the comments section. And you could look at my final top 25 from last season. And most likely you may have some spots in there where you don't completely agree. But you'll think, okay, yeah, got it. Noah writes in, you crap, Mark. Shanktopotamus, top 25, that actually makes sense. You're going to have 4 Mountain West teams ranked in a few weeks. love it. I don't know if I'm going to have 4 Mountain West teams ranked in a few weeks. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. This is not a prediction. I got to watch the games, and then I rank the teams. How about that for an approach? I actually watch the games, get the results, and then rank the teams. Swagger Nuggets. Mark, April Fool's was 5 months ago. It was 5 months ago. And that's a good thought there. So, I got to, I think you gave me a great idea for next April Fool's. I'll actually take the AP Top 25 and I'll read that off during April Fool's. That's the joke. Mark, I enjoy your channel till now. Bucknut 66. All right. Dennis White, I don't like this. I would not do a poll until week 4 or 5 of the season. Dennis, that might be the most intelligent comment I've read off thus far. But this is what we do in this business, is we rank things and rate things. And yes, we probably need 4 or 5 weeks to start to accurately evaluate these teams. Dennis, you're brilliant. Thank you so much for your comment. You're right. But this is what we do. We rank the teams. So I only have 1 game to go on. So I'm going to do my best to rank them appropriately. And yeah, you've got some valid criticisms of it. I don't mind that. Nice Guy TV, no Wake Forest. Wake Forest beat a group of 5, let's use that term. Utah State 38-35 at home. Not quite enough. But if they keep winning, Nice Guy TV, Wake will get ranked. That's how it works. Sage, Ohio, no polls until the second weekend in October. Everyone starts with a clean slate, no preseason ranking bias and presumptions. Earn your ranking on the field on who you have played. Sage, another brilliant statement. Thank you so much. So again, you make all the sense in the world to say, let's play 4 or 5 games. Then we start to rank the teams. I am simply ranking them from the start because I've got a YouTube channel and people like to see rankings. And I like to rank teams and rate things and rate quarterbacks. And this is what we do. This is what we do. It's just part of the deal. So I'm going to rate them as accurately as I possibly can. But you're right. What do we have to go on? 1 game. Nick, I'm a full-blown Boise State homer, but number 4, I'm not sure we have the 4th best resume. I know we aren't the 4th best team. No, you aren't the 4th best team. I don't think you are. I'm flattered that you think so. Again, I don't think you're the 4th best team. You're missing the point, but I can't agree with you. Ha ha. Okay? This was explained. Not the best teams, the teams that have earned it with the best wins and the best performance on the field. All right, Frank Bifus, based on your formula, I guess you will be doing a top 25 each week. I will be, Frank. Look forward to it. Justin Firm, where is Ohio State? They're at 15. Don't agree with that top 25 at all, Bud, but I respect your point of view. I agree that you don't rank off of schedules. I don't think you try to find the best teams and rank them accordingly. Dustin, as a fan, we love to see the top 25, but as someone who does the final polls, they should have to rank all 130 teams. I think that's the right amount. That, Dustin, is a great point. So think about this. What is the magic of 25? Who came up with that number? Well, they came up with 10 and then 20. And then in 1989, USA Today expanded it to top 25. It used to be the top 20, the top 25, just to bring in 5 other fan bases and get them interested in reading the newspaper and checking out the rankings to just cause more interest to rank 25 teams. Why not rank 26 teams? It's like a pitcher who wins 20 games in baseball. That's like a magic. I understand it's a round number, but it should be ranked as no more meaningful than the difference between winning 20 and 21 versus winning 19 to 20. The same thing here. If you're ranked number 25, you're basically the same as the team that's ranked number 26. No different than the team that's 24 to 25. So maybe we should rank all 130 teams. That is a great point, because why is the cutoff at 25? It's just a random number. Top 13, top 34, top 87. Sean, Mark, please explain to me how Boise State's win over Florida State is better than Florida's win over Miami. Okay, Boise State went on the road. Boise State played a similar team to this point of the season. I would determine Florida State and Miami to have near equal talent. If anything, Florida State's got better talent than Miami. I'm not saying that they're going to finish with a better record. I don't know. I predicted Miami to go 8-4. I predicted Florida State to go 8-4. Miami was unranked, but so were Wyoming's wins. Okay, I'm not basing my rankings off wins coming against what the AP said were ranked wins. Follow me? Boise's and a few other teams overflow. I can't follow this. Dustin comes back here. That's why you do a preseason poll, to have an initial start point. Whether right or wrong, it's a starting position to move accordingly. No. Why do you have a starting point? It's made up out of nothing. The only reason I would do a preseason top 25 is because I've got a channel on YouTube and you guys want to see preseason top 25s. I haven't done one the last few years. I used to do them, and I should do them again because people watch them. But they have basis in very little. They have basis in zero fact in terms of production on the field. They have basis in, well, LSU was 10-3 last year. I think they're going to be better this year because their recruiting rankings were this, and they kept their this much production on offense and defense, and they lost not much. Therefore, that's what the formula is basically taking last year's team, then the additions and subtractions, and then trying to figure out how good they are this year. Now, a lot of people do that, and then they include the schedule, and they say, well, let's match them up against their schedule and see how well they're going to do. And that, I explained in the video, is idiotic as well. To be ranking teams based on a schedule that they haven't played yet. No, you rank them or project them, rate them based on how good you think they are. Uncle Lou chimes in. I can't even. So Uncle Lou, obviously, and I respect Uncle Lou. I love Uncle Lou's channel. I've had him on a few times, and he's called in and made some just tremendous statements about what we do here. So I'm guessing Uncle Lou is just so grateful, and there's just so much gratitude built up that he can't even express himself. And that's not like him, but yeah, he's just there's just a lot of great gratitude there, and he's grateful. Or maybe he wishes he would have thought of the top 25 that actually makes sense. David Condry, Mark, I've watched some of your stuff, but your logic here is flawed to the point that I will probably just skip your stuff from now on. I love this comment. Before you lose more people like me for good, maybe you should reconsider this. Okay, David, don't watch anymore. If it's that much of a burden on you, or if it's just disturbed you that much. So, David, if you've watched in the past and you've gained value from it and you think we do a good job in delivering what we do, and there's one video you don't like, you've dismissed us. Okay. If I took that attitude and approach to media, I wouldn't be watching anyone, because I've certainly seen, if you watch long enough, you're not going to like something that somebody says, or you're not going to like something, or you're going to feel as though They didn't deliver on that video or in that show. So, fine, David. All right, machine unit. Michigan is not in the top 25. That Middle Tennessee team was pretty solid, finished first in their division, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, I welcome the debate. I welcome the suggestions. I welcome the criticism of the rankings themselves. But the logic of the rankings, I cannot in any way tolerate, or will I not defend my rankings approach. But yeah, Michigan, top 25. Understand, as somebody stated here, why 25? So you don't know who I had at 26, 27, 28. And Michigan hater did not watch the video, I guess, because he said before I watch it, if Michigan and Florida are in the top 10, this list sucks. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, just having a good time with you concerning my top 25. Yes. That actually makes sense. We will see you next time. We've got a big Wednesday lineup coming your way. Florida State at 7 o'clock. And Willie Taggart haters. I hope you don't really hate the man. But as a head coach, Florida State fans, I completely understand. Join the chat. 8 o'clock, Miami football talk. 9 o'clock, live with Ohio State. And then at 10 o'clock, we're talking Michigan football, believe it or not, right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.